What's up, what's up, what's up? It's me, the DOC, in the house again. It's time to groove with our MPC 2500. We're going to pull out a sample CD, of course, one of our Sample King CDs. We're going to sample some loops up and show you what this amazing new MPC can do. Let's check it out. You know what I mean? Let's get busy, dog. Yeah. Okay, first, I want to show you how to use this digital input-output. We get the proper cables. These are our digital cables used right here. And we can get our input. We can take samples in. We just put the cable right here, put it on. That's our sample in. We can also get the audio output to go to a digital mix, let's say, for example. And we can go right here on the other side and go our digital out. Next, we'll cover our record in. Now here, we use 1/4 inch. These are 1/4 inch cables. And also you've got 2 rings here. See that? Okay. We can go left and right. And this is the right side right here. See that? We got the right and the left. For our record in, we're going to record in stereo. Okay, now we're doing stereo output. Now right here you can see we have our left and our right. I'll put one here into the left side of stereo, one to the right side of a stereo output. And this is our stereo analog output, as compared to here, where we have our digital output. Now next, we're going to cover our USB input. Here, we have a USB cable. This is the end that goes in here. I'll take it. And make sure it's firmly in place. Now the opposite end will normally go into our computer. It's a much fatter end, as you can see here. The other end is for our USB cable. Okay, we got our assignable mix out. We got some cables. These are 8 cables we're going to use right here. You can assign any sample you want to come out of any one of these 8 outputs. It's really great. And on the old MPCs, the very first ones, it came with 8 outputs. This new one comes with 8 outputs. No need to go out and buy that extra output stuff. You plug your cables right in, as you can see right as I'm doing right now. I'm plugging every cable in directly in here and making sure we got them plugged in right. And there you go. One more to go. 1 more 1/4 inch to go. And there we go. Our 8 outputs are set to go. We can now assign any sample we want to come out of any output we'd like to here in the back of our MPC 2500. So I got it right. You got to make sure you go in there right with your cable. It's very important to make sure the cables fit firmly into the slot. See that? That's tight. That's tight in there. Make sure it fits in there tightly and it's snug. It's important to have the proper MIDI connection hooked up to your MPC 2500. Now I got another cable here. I can put another cable in here and put this cable in right there. See, but you got to make sure you're on the right angle. And when you put that cable in, it's going to fit snugly into the hole. Now I got to make sure I got this cable in right, see? Got to make sure I got it just right. Push it in, see that? And we're in there with that cable. Now next, I may want to get the MIDI in. So I want to set up a keyboard, set the keyboard up, and then I want to send some MIDI information into my MPC 2500. See that? Now this is D and C. Now I prefer to use, I'll start with, pull this one out. Oh, that's tight. I like that. Nice tight fit. And put it right in here. Into A. Make sure I get this thing right here. There you go. Pull this one out. Nice tight fit. Make sure you firmly place these inside the sockets right. It's important to get the proper input and you're good to go. Well, next, it's time to put the power cable in. I've got our connection set up. Next, I'm going to put my power cable in. Got my cable right here. Make sure the right cable that came with the machine. And you plug it in and make sure it's firmly in place. This is important. Make sure that's firmly in place right there on the socket. When we're ready, we just turn our power button on and we're good to go. Now, next right here, we've got our play start, our play, our stop, overdub, and our record. Now here we can play from the start of a track. Here we'll play from wherever we are inside the track. That means it could be on the second bar or third bar. It'll play from that point. Here we stop the actual track. Here we can overdub on top of it. We press overdub and press play, and we can overdub in that particular sequence. We can press record and press play, and we will erase what's ever there and start recording over that track in the sequence. Next, we have our step, our locate, and our bar. Now here we can either go backwards or forwards in a step mode by steps according to the quantized value. Here we can press locate and locate a specific point within the sequence. Here we can go by bars. We can either go back by bars or forward by bars in that sequence. Now here we have our main button. Press this button to get us the main screen. We have our sequence right there. This is our window button. This button's really cool. You can go to like a particular part of the screen. We'll go to the cursor down, let's say to our drum or type or whatever. We'll go to sequence. We'll press window. It'll open a window where we can delete a sequence. We can copy a sequence. So it allows us to get to other parameters on a specific area in that sequence. Now we also have a shift button here. We'll press shift. You can press shift, for example, and we can change the contrast of our screen. As you can see, the screen will change right here. That's pretty cool. We have tap tempo. We've got our mode button, our cursor, our data wheel. We can go minus and plus with the data wheel here. We have our numerical pad key section here. We got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have our pad bank section right there. We have A, B, C, and D. Full level. Now press this button down. That means we hit a pad. We get the full level. We got 16 levels. We have 16 levels with a velocity or tuning. We have the next sequence button and our track mute button. Right here, our input through. When a signal comes through, we can input through a CD, for example, and hear our sounds coming through our MPC 2500. We have our record gain knob from a minimum to a maximum of level. That means recording something inside MPC 2500, we can get a maximum record in and adjust this level so we don't distort or we don't get too low a signal. Next, we have our main volume. Of course, from minimum to maximum. It comes out of our speaker system. We make sure we can adjust the level and get the proper level to listen back to our production on our MPC 2500. Here's the front edge of our MPC 2500. Now right here, for example, we can put our compact flash. Let me get this thing out of here. That's our compact flash right there. See that? And it slips right back in. Once it goes in, this little button comes out. See that? In, out. Here we have our foot switch. 1 and 2 inserts of foot switches. And here, of course, is for our phono, for a headset. Now here we have our corresponding function keys. We have 6 of them right here. Now what happens here is that we can press this key and it corresponds to the function to select here. Here it will correspond to FX, which is for effects. So each key corresponds to a specific function that's designed to access on our MPC 2500. I can go back to my main screen and here you'll see we can go to timing correct and we'll hit our timing correct screen. The function key F4 will close it. Go to clicks right there. Close. I can go here to minus a track or to plus a track. We can go to mute and we can go to solo. So each one of these keys correspond to a specific function that you'll see on the bottom of our LCD screen display. Okay, here we've got our pad bank. Now there are sounds on each one of these pads here. Yeah, hit it. So I'm hitting soft or hit it hard. We got this varying level of velocity. That means how hard we hit it is how hard it'll actually come out of the machine, that loud or not. So what we can actually do here, we can go back here to our full level. No matter how hard I hit it or hit it soft, the level's always going to be the same, the maximum. Now these are approximately 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4x4. That's 16 different pads here. We have a pad bank. We'll press the bank button. That's A. That's 16 sounds we can have on bank A. We can have 16 sounds on bank B. We can have 16 sounds on C and D for a maximum of a possible 64 different sounds on our pads. Okay, now we've got this thing called 16 levels. This is a really cool function. We'll press 16 levels here, and we'll pick a pad. That pad right there, that bass drum. Now, I turn my full level on. You can hear it. Now, I can set my 16 levels to be velocity. I'll press turn it on. Now, it's getting louder and louder. That's loudest to softest. That's how 16 works for velocity. Well, we can also use our 16 levels to change the tuning, which means the pitch of a particular sample sound. I'll press 16 levels, and next I'll pick a sound. That bass sound there. I'll go to full level, full level, and I'll pick tuning right here. I'll move my cursor to tuning, and next I'll turn it on. Now, since the original keypad will be 4, that's the original tone will be here. But watch this. See that? They're all in half steps. Now watch this. I'll do a little scale. And that's how we can tune our samples in our MPC 2500. Okay, before we start actually making a beat up or using this MPC 2500 in the sequencer section, we need to make sure we have the right pace or the right tempo. Move our cursor down, or up here as you can see. Move my cursor to right here where it says 120. Now I prefer to have a click happen before I actually start to record or play on a sequence. I'll press click. Now here in click is our metronome, a little tick, tick, tick that we have. We can start click to be a rate of quarter notes, quarter note triplets, eighth note triplets, 16 notes, all the way to 32nd notes. Now when it's a quarter note, as you can see I have it set here to a count in when recording or in play. I'll close the window and I'll press play. So see what happens there? We get 4 clicks before it actually starts to play the sequence. And you'll notice here at the top here, right here, I'll press play, start again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. See that? I went to 2. But the first 4, as you can see, nothing happens at all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. See that? That way I have 4 clicks, 4 little clicks in the front of my sequence, so I get an idea and pace myself according to how fast the sequence's BPMs, which is right here, 120, which means beats per minute, will go by for the sequence. Now here, see how our clicks established. That's our clicker right there. We can also set our clicks to be in play all the time. That means you play a sequence, you always hear your click, or only have it happen during the recording process. I prefer to mainly have it happen only during the recording process. So I have it here saying, in record, click yes, in play, click no. I'll close the window. Now next I want to set my timing correction, what I call the quantized value. I'll press F1, and here we have our timing correction. Now here we can have no timing correction. Now watch this, I'll press off, and I'll start to play a sequence. We'll zoom back a little bit here, so you can see what I'm going to do right now, and get you a good idea of what's going to go on. I'll press record and play. See, it doesn't sound so steady. It's off. It's not very good. Now, what the MPC does, and what most sequencers should actually do, is they have a timing correction. This means that if you hit it a little bit off, it'll put it right where you want it to be at. This is how it's done. Timing correction up for 16th notes. I'll go to TC for time correction. I'll turn my data wheel, and you can see now we're heading to 16th notes. Now, I will not use the swing value. Look at it, 50%. Got that? Now, I'll press close. Now, I'll tap my beat in once again. Okay, now, I've set my timing correction to 16th notes. I'll press record and play and get my first 4 clicks to pace myself. 1, 2. See, we're in there. And you can see the tempo's even now. Okay, I've got my beat going on here. I want to add another instrument too. I want to add a hi-hat. That's kind of low. There's a hi-hat there, but it's kind of low. Now what I can do here is I can press mode, press mixer, hit the hi-hat, and I'll see the level. Now we'll zoom in here a little bit. And you can see right here, we can see that right here is my hi-hat. I hit a pad, and it moves over, see? That's the hi-hat right there. Once I press mode and press pad number 6, I'm in a mixer mode. And here, where the hi-hat's at, I can adjust this level by turning my data wheel up and down. Right here. Or, doing a plus or minus sign right below the data wheel and hold it down, I can increase or decrease the volume of any particular sound here, which is in the A bank, and that's pad number 4. That's A04. See that right there? Great. Okay, now I'm going to put my hi-hat in. Now, instead of pressing record and play, I'll press overdub it and play start. I'll press overdub. See the red button go on right there? Red light goes on right there, right on that red button. And I'll press play start. I get the first 4 clicks, and I can start recording my hi-hat. See that? I messed up. Watch this. I'll play it back now. Now, I may want to do that, but you know one thing I can do too? I can hold down my note repeat. Watch this. I want to erase that, so I don't want to keep that. I'll go here to undo, and I'll play it back. As you can see, by pressing undo, after I've recorded something, we can get rid of it. You can also go back to press undo again. It's back in again. See that? I'll stop, press undo, and it's out. Really cool button. We can undo and redo and test to see if something works or doesn't work. Now in this case, I don't want to do that. So I'll go back to overdub and record play. And this time, I want to use my note repeat button right over here. See, I held the note repeat button down. I picked the pad I want to use, and it's in there. So now, I have a hi-hat that's moving very fast. As you can see. Now sometimes you may say, well, the note correction value I picked, or the timing correction rather I picked, is not what I really want to use. And in this case, I may want to change that timing correction for the hi-hat. We'll do this next. Now I'm going to change the timing correction. I'll press time correction here. I think I'm going to use 8th notes this time for this little hi-hat part. Tick, 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 tick. Right on such a fast hi-hat. I'll press close right now. And I'll go back to making a new hi-hat. Now I'll just undo that. And now I'll put a new hi-hat into this one track. I'll press record, or the overdub in the record section, the red section. See, the red light's on. And I'll press play start. Get my 4 clicks in the beginning, then I'll start to record using my note repeat button. And now we have a slower hi-hat. And all I did was actually change my quantized value. Now when I've actually made a track up, I've got a beat going on. Sometimes I want to let me lower this down a little bit. Sometimes I want to maybe add more drums to it. So I may just go here, I'll press play start. I want to add that in. I can go to overdub while it's in play mode, press play, and now the light is still lit here in overdub. I can add another part in. Now sometimes I add a part and I might not like it. Of course I'll go to undo. But this part I want to put on a different track. So what I'll do is I'll move the cursor down to track right here, and I'll select a new track. Okay, now we're going to change to a new track. So I'll move my cursor button here, turn my plus or minus button, I'll go to a plus right there, and now we're on a new track. As you can see here, we have the same program going with the CD program right there, drums, and that says unused, which is great. So next, I'll record that part over, except on this one track here. Okay, we have this track here, track 2, in the CDS program. I'll press record and play. It's a whole new track, so I'm going to erase what's ever there. If I was going to erase something, I'll press record and play start. And that's on a whole new track. Okay, now I'm going to add some more parts. I'm going to go to a new track you saw earlier. I'm going to be on track number 3 with my CD's program. I'll press record and play start. Now I'm going to practice one part. So to practice, I will press my overdub button, and I can play a part I want to play a part, and let's see if it works. Lower my full level down. Now watch this. Now record it. Now I got a new track. Now I'm on track number 4. Pick a bass sound here. I'll practice it. Hold on, people. Let's try that. I'll put a bass line now. I'm here in this track number 4, and I'll start from the top. Next, we're going to try and work at that bass line a little bit. I think I want to tune the bass line, and we're going to use our 16 levels. Okay, we've got this little bass line added in. want to do is I'm probably trying to pitch this bass line, make a real bass line out of it, rather than using the samples I have in this sequence we're doing right now. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mute that track. Okay, I've got that bass line right here. But I want to mute it. I'll press mute right here and watch. It's muted, see that? Now, I may want to use it or not. I'm not too sure. I'm going to go to a new track. I'll go to track 5 here. And I'm going to press record and play. But first, I want to select the sound. I'm going to go to 16 levels. I press my 16 levels button, and I want to get that bass sound right there. I want to tune it. I want to make a bass line from a sound. So, I use 16 levels to do that. Got my tuning set. My original key pad will be pad 4. Now I'll press turn it on, and now all my pads are all tuned to a half step interval, and it's going descending order down from here to pad number 1. Now I'll play a bass line along with our drum beat. Okay, now I'm actually ready to go here. I've got my bass sound. Right? Now watch this. I've got a new track. I muted the other track, track number 4. I'm on track number 5. I'll press record and play. I want to practice first. So, it went to overdub. I'll do that. That's all. Let's try it again. I can undo. Remember that. I'm back again. Bass line going pretty cool, right? You can overdub too. I can even solo that track. I'll press solo. Or mute that track out. Back in. Okay. You saw I muted track, put a track in the solo. Now you'll see it up close now. I'll press play start. Turn my volume down a little bit. Now I can mute the track and unmute the track, or a solo track. Ooh, solo, look at that, that's pretty good, right? Now watch this. I can press the minus button and go down. Track 4, track 3, track 2, track 1. I'll mute track 1. Now I'll play track 1. I'll solo track 1. Oh, we got track 1 solo. Let's. Now I'll go up a track, plus. Then I can mute this track. I'll go plus, mute that track. Go back and minus. Track 2, I'll put it back in, unmuted. Then I'll go plus again. I'll turn on track number 3. Now remember I had a track here. We'll go plus, here's 4. I'll turn track 5 off, muted. I'll use the other bass line I made up. I'll go back to minus track, then unmuted. that's how we can actually go between tracks from 1 through 5 by going up and down, minus or plus or minus a track. I can mute any track that I select that ends up being here in the window. I can even solo that track at the same time too. Now, I got a mix going on here. A cool little beat. Well, now I want to mix up the levels a little bit more. I'll press mode, and I'll press pad number 6 for mixer. And now we see the mixer once again. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go in here to our mixer section. And I was actually, let's go back to the main screen again. And I'm here on program CDS. So, I want to go here. I'm going to move my cursor to track right there. So it's a track. I'm going to go back here to bass. See it says bass right there? Good. Now I'll press mode and I'll press pad 6. I'm back in the mixer section again. So now I want to lower the level of the actual bass sound. I go back to main screen. I can press solo here. Right back here. I'm going to press solo. And I'll press mode again. Let's go back to mixer. And now, see that? I can control the level of that bass sound. Now I can go back to press main screen. I'll undo solo. Then I'll press mode, mixer. Now, I want to probably fix my drums up too. So I'll go back to mode again. I'm in mixer. Now I'll press main screen. Now main screen, here in main screen, I can go right back here to CDS. See that? And I can fix the drums in the actual CDS program. Now by selecting the track here and then pressing mode and pressing mixer, I'll be able to mix whatever that program is that I've already selected in this screen here. On this screen here, that's our bass. And here I'm going back here to the drum part. Let's go to the first drum part here. This is our first track of drums. Okay, now I got the drum pattern here, right here. This is our drum pattern. Turn the bass line off for a second here. I'll press mode and the mixer, and now I can hit any pad. So the snare's at. See that? The snare's right there. That's kind of cool right there, right? We can actually change the levels of our kick drums and our snares. We can go back to main screen. And here we are on track number 3. I'll press mode and mixer again. I go to, I think it's pad number 10. Turn it down some. See that? Turn the sound up. Up a little bit more. And then we have a little mix, we like a little bit more drums out front. We've got our little sounds in the background. So you can actually mix your tracks even while I was playing in motion. Okay, that's pretty cool. We can actually get the levels right. Now, sometimes when you're mixing some tracks up, like the stuff you're doing, you may want to press your track mute. Watch this is my track mute button. And now, I'll zoom in. You can see we can turn certain tracks on or off. I'll press play start. 2, 3, 4. My track off. Now drum beat. Now I'll turn everything else off. Bassline go. Now it's hitting the pad. Put this pad here. That pad off. If I hit a pad, I actually turn on a track on or off. See that? Now press stop. You can actually track mute. As you see the lights go off, I hit a pad. That turns the track off and turn the track on. Track mute. Okay, I got another track I want to record on. I'm going to record now on track 6. Now, I have another sample. It's a 1-bar sample. 2, 3, 4, 1. See it? 1, 2, 3, 4, out. Great. It's a 2-bar sequence, as we know already. So, we're going to put this on the first beat of the first measure and the first beat of the second measure. I'll press record, play start. Solo. Now, I can even erase that. I can press the erase button here. I'm still in this mode here. And erase it out. Or put it back in. Yeah, I like that. Okay, here's the back of our CD player. Now here we have a line out. This line out right here is my analog out. And right here is my digital output. First, I'll plug up my analog out. Got my, see that right there? These are my RCA cables. You go red to red and white to white. Next, I'll get a cable for my digital output. Got a cable right here. Got my gray cable right there. I'll get my digital out. Then we'll do this so you can actually see and understand how we can use our digital output and our analog output. So here's our MPC 2500, and we're about to take some samples. We're going to zoom in right now, and we're going to check out how we do this. I'm going to press mode, then I'm going to press record. And now we're here in our recording mode. As you can hear, our CD is already on. Let's start from the top again. And we got levels going in here already. You pause the CD. Now look, we're in analog. As I showed you earlier in the beginning of our DVD, when we showed you the back of our MPC 2500, we have our analog input, which is left and right input. Well, we have the output from our CD player going into the input on our MPC 2500. So we've got our analog input on. Analog's on. I'm going to go to digital now. Turn my data wheel. And now I'm in digital. So I have both inputs hooked up for my CD player, as you know already. Now we can adjust our volume with our record button. We'll pull back a little bit, and we're going to see this button right here. This is my record gain right here. See that? And so I can actually adjust my levels from right there. And next, I'm going to get an analog sound right here. Okay. So now we have our input going on. And we're going to zoom back in here to show you some other details here. Now when actually sampling into our MPC 2500, we got to make sure we're proper threshold level. Now as you can see right here, we have a threshold level set up. Get this pen right here, and you can see this. See these little boxes right there? Those little boxes represent the threshold level. Now when the sound gets close to it, It opens up and allows the MPC to sample in this mode. Now I'll press play on my CD player again. Turn the sound down somewhat. And we can adjust the audio level with our record gain knob. So let these samples go by here, and we can see how it passes. Once it passes these little boxes there, it will start to sample. It's known as threshold level sampling. We can get it way down. See that right there? When it's right there, it's going to sample very quickly. I'll turn the CD player off. And you see right there, that's the lowest we can probably go here, is the infinity. See there where it's right there? That means no matter what comes through, a little sound will open it up. So we're going to get it to where it's like a little bit, I would prefer to sample something about maybe 56 or so here. So we don't get any little noise in the beginning. I get the exact size of the sample I want. You can also set not just the input for analog or digital. If we have, let's say, a track we're playing in our MPC 2500, let's say it's a beat you made up yourself, we can sample the main output. That means whatever signal's going to the output, we can sample back into the MPC. We'll show that a little later on. But now we're going to take a real nice sample right now and work with some samples. So here we're going to go next to time. We want to set the proper amount of time for the sample. That means the length of how long it's going to be. What's going to be maybe a 2-second sample or maybe a 30-second sample. And as you can see, mine's set for 11 minutes and 39 seconds here. That's the maximum because we have the 128 memory installed in our MPC. We also can go from mono right and mono left. We can sample from either mono left or mono right, or get both those signals and make it into one single sample, a stereo sample. Now in this case, I'm going to use a pretty small amount of sample time. I don't need to use a whole bunch. With a few seconds, maybe like about 15 or 10 seconds or so. 10 seconds would be enough for me. We also need to set our monitor to on or off. Now I'll play my CD player here. Monitor's off, we won't hear nothing. See that? You see this, it's going in there, we hear nothing. The monitor should be on. Now the monitor's on. Now as you can see here, once we sample something, we pull out the CD player, we got these two little boxes here for our threshold, and these two grayed out boxes right here. These represent the peak of the sample range. That means when the sample goes up and the sound gets loud enough, we have a peak. That means it goes up to this far on this side, on the left, and that far on the right. See that? Those are our peak. And we can actually reset those peaks. As you can see here, we can press that reset right there, and the peak's back to here now. See that? Now I'll put it back on again. Pause. And now the peak's up to here. Once it passes the threshold level, we're right back up to here with the peak. That's very important to know. So next what we're going to do is we're going to try and record something into our MPC 2500. Now, first what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure I got my threshold level set properly here. So it's good to me. And we're ready to go. Okay, now I'm going to take a sample. I'll press play on my sampler. And we can see the threshold level right there. See that? I'm going to turn this up a little bit more. I want to make sure I get a nice loud sample. I like my samples to be loud enough so I can hear them back and record them properly and get a really great level. That one's too loud. So some samples can be louder than the other ones. Make sure you get the right level, and your thing's going to be great for your samples. Okay, I think I got the sample I want to take. Let's try that. Okay, I got my sample set for a loop on my CD player. I'm going to make sure I get the right level here. And I'm going to press the reset button here and see how far how loud it goes. That might be a good level right there, I think. I'm recording this pass here. Press record. Now I'll press stop. Now, we'll zoom in here and show you some features here. We can actually take this sample and keep it, or we can play it, or we can get rid of it and say, let's retry it again. I didn't think it was that good. Now I'll play it back. I kept it. Okay, I'd like that. It's pretty good. Okay, now I'll try another level here. Let's get a sample that's not loud enough here. I like that right there. I'm gonna try it now to record. And so what happened there? It was waiting for the level to come in. Once it passed the threshold level, it started sampling. So here, I can play it back. And here I can retry. I think I'm gonna keep that one though. But I want to name that sample. I'll turn my data wheel. And now I can name the sample. But first I'll get rid of what I have here already. I'll press Shift. And I'll press my left cursor button. And I can delete whatever there, as you can see here. Right there. Now I can name my sample. I'll just hit the pad I want to hit and say, I'll call it a beat. So I'll hit the pads here. That's B, E, A. Back over again. Let's get this E in. E. And then we're going to go T. So I hit the pads, I can name this particular sample. I'll press enter to keep it. And now that sample is called beat. But I want to assign it to a pad. That means give it a place where I know it's going to be. I can hit that pad and that sample will be right there. I assign it to pad 1 or A1. That's in bank A, and that's pad number 1. Now I'll press key. We want to edit our sample up. We'll press mode. The mode button will blink, and we'll press trim, which is pad number 6. And here's our sample. I'm going to find it right here. Right there it is right there. See it? Look at my waveform. Looks pretty loud. I like a waveform to at least cover the upper and lower areas here. See that? That's a pretty good waveform. That way it's not too loud. It's not distorting, but it's going to be a nice clean sample. Now I'll press the pad. I've got my sample. What I want to do with this sample, I want to sort of loop it up and get the idea how I want to use it to make a little music with the sample, this beat here. So first, I want to go to my start time, which is right there below the word beat. So it says start time, that means start, ST start. Now I can turn this data wheel, and I'll turn it over and over and over and over again. It'll take a little longer time for me to reach here. So I'm going to press Shift, and then once I press Shift, I'm going to press the right cursor button. It's this button right over here. Now as I do, and we'll zoom back in, you'll notice one thing. I press the left one actually. This one here, I'll press this button here, and this. You'll notice here on our screen, I can press the left button, and it moves in from the first digit. See that? To the next digit, to the next digit. And the right button will move it back in. This is great for us to actually control the amount of movement we have from the beginning of the sample to the end of the sample. So we can get this gray area to be covered and go right back to the top of the sample. Now this allows us to move in tenths. See that? And we can move a little more. I'll do Shift again. I'll press the left cursor. Now I can move in hundredths. See this right there? Wow, I'm really close to it. That's really good. And we're getting closer to the top of that sample. Okay, we got our sample, and of course we're trying to get the beginning and the end. As we do press our Shift button and hold down our cursor, either left or right cursor, we can move from one digit to the next digit, which means we're using large increments. So here, I think this is going to be right about here. I hit a pad. That's nice. I like that one. That's real nice. Now, I want to probably get the ending right. So, I'll move this over to here. My cursor button, I'm right there. Now, as we can see, there's a lot here at the end to go with, a lot to go on. So, I'm going to press Shift, hit my left cursor arrow. I'm going to turn the data wheel right now. And then we're going to go, look at this, all the way over here, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And as close as we can get, right about up to there. Now, sometimes you can't tell where you are. That's when I hit the window button. Hit the window button right over here. hit the window button, and now I can zoom in or zoom out to where I want to be on this screen right here. See that? That's good. So let me pull up a little more so I can see it a little better there. See that? That's even better. And now we're going to hit the cursor button again, move closer in, and you're going to see the waveform. See the waveform come right there? It started to come. See the waveform right there? See that? Now we can zoom out and zoom in. We zoom out a little more and we can see more of this waveform. It's a great way to do it. I'm going to go to right about there. So it keeps moving past it, turn the data away a little bit. So now I'm going to move my digit back one more time. And we'll see if we move a little closer now. A little more fine tuning of that actual movement of the end of our sample. Now, I'll press close. And we see that I have the end here and the end there. Now I'll probably try to play it first. See that? It's looping. Now the reason why it's doing that is you can see right here, well, you can't see right now, but right here on your MPC, this pad's used for loop. See that? That's for P, out there, loop. So I hold the pad down. If I have the right beginning and the right end of my sample, it'll loop. Now it may not loop properly, so you adjust the front and the back. Now here I'll move my cursor back over to the front. I'll press window again, and I can see the beginning of the actual sample in the very beginning of the loop. It makes it much, much easier. Okay, now we're right here, and we can see we have the front here. We like where the front's at. I may want to bring it in a little bit more. I want to probably get to right where this sound, when the bass drum hits more there. This is like some little bit of beginning noise to me. So I want to use the cursor. So I'm moving the buttons all the time. So it moves faster. See that? Less movement. I'm going to get right to when the beat comes in. I think right about there is perfect. I'll press the button here. I like the way that sounds. It sounds pretty good to me. I'll move over a little bit more because you never know. It may be bad or good. I'll see how it sounds like this here. I'll move back a little bit more here, right about there. I like that. That sounds pretty good. But first, I'm going to move my digit over one more time. Because now I can get really refined. See that? I can really move it around a little bit, just a hair. Now, the most important thing is to get the first part right. I'll make sure that first beat is just right on the beat. I like that. And that's how we can loop our beat up, by getting the right beginning and the right end. Now, once you get the right size you like, this will be perfect. What I normally do, let's say, hey, look, let's sort of like get rid of the parts we don't want. And I'll show you that right now. We'll close this window right here. And we have a beginning here, which is we don't want anymore. And an end here, we don't want that part. But the part we do want is right in here. We want this part right there. See that? That's the part we want. So, we're going to get rid of the rest of the stuff. Now, how we do this, first of all, we can go here to Edit. And we can discard the beginning and the end. So we'll get rid of the outside data. Data outside of the selected area right there. See that? That's really cool. We have several options here. Now, what I love to do, for one thing, so I don't mess anything up, I love to sit down and say, well, you know, we got this sample right there. Let's close this up. Let's go back to the top, and I'll press the window button. I want to copy that sample in case when I edit this up and it comes out wrong, which it might not. I want to make sure, though, I've got the right sample I want to keep. So what I'll do is I'll press copy button, which is F6 there. And I copy it and call it beat 2. Good idea? We'll call it beat 2. We'll do it. And now we have beat 2. Now the first one that said beat, I'll keep that as my original. Beat 2 is the one I'll experiment with. I will now discard the data that I do not need and keep the selected region I want to keep. I'll go to Edit, And now I'll press do it. And look how fast it did that. We now have the entire sample length the way we want to have it. I'll hold the button down here. I like that. Now that sounds pretty good. Turn my sound a little bit more up. See? Now it's soft, it's not loud. I can turn the full level button right there and get... There you go. So. Now we've got our sample size here, and we saw we can actually discard the end from the front and the beginning. Now we can also do here in edit mode, we can take the sample and we can extract that piece out if we want to. For example, instead of like just cutting these off, we'll take this part and extract it out of it. As you can see, that's pretty simple right there. And we'll make a new beat called beat number 3. I'll do that. And I took this area right here and made beat number 3. See that? I can do that right here with beat number 1 again. See that right there, beat number 1? I'll go to edit. I'll go to extract, and it'll take the part out. Rather than do and discard, it'll discard those pieces. In this case, it'll just pop that part right out of there. Got that? I can press do it. We got beat number 4. But the unique thing about that is that the first beat is still intact. Otherwise, if I use discard on this first beat, these would be gone, and I wouldn't have the ability to recheck my edits here and say, maybe I want to add some more to the end, or add some more to the beginning. So it's important to understand how discard and extract actually work. Now we'll go back to our beat number 4 here. These are all copies of the same beat. And we're here in extract. Now, I can also go to delete. I can delete any section of the sample I want to delete. I can select the section of it and cut that piece out of there. Now I can delete the entire region I've selected. If I select a piece of the region, I'll show you that. I can go to here, let's say, and we'll go back to, let me go back to play. Let me go back to where I was at, mode, and go back to trim, and here we are, beat 5. See? I deleted nothing. So here we are in beat 4. I can actually go here to edit. I'll go back to cancel. I can pick a size I want to take. I'll say I want to get this bass drum or something. I'll go, okay, I want the bass drum. I'll go to here, I'll miss my shift, I'll move my digital increments in here, and I'll go in big chunks now, all the way. A few clicks, it takes me to the end. Right there. I want this piece right here. That's all I want. See that? Get to the end of it. Let's go back to here then. And let's move it in some. Let's go like this. Move it in more. Like this. And more. And now, I can say, you know something? Go back to edit now. I want to delete that part out of that whole sample. I don't want that part. I can press do it. And keep. It's gone. See that? So, we can actually delete a section of our sample if we want to. But I don't want this sample. So what I'll do right now, I can press Window. I can delete, close the window, or copy it. I want to delete the sample. I want to delete it out totally. Delete. Nope, just that one sample. I can delete all samples, or cancel, or just delete that one. I'll press do it. Get that one out of there. Now it goes back to the top of my menu. See that? Going right back to the end. Of course, when you take a sample, the very last sample you put in is the sample that's going to be there in the menu, at the end of the menu. Now, I'll delete this one too. I'll press Window. I'll press Delete. And do it. And that one's gone. I'll rewind back to the end again. There we go. And here's sample number 4. One I actually use to extract from. Now, I'll go back to here. Move my cursor and press Shift. And move the large increments back to the end of my sample. I'll press the button here. That's so cool. Now watch. I'll go to edit here. I can also, besides delete, I can silence an entire section of a sample. I can also normalize your sample. Now what normalize does, you can see here, it takes a low-level sample that's this low. You record a sample, it's not loud enough, but we can't get it again. It might be a little vocal part you like to say, I love that way that sample sounds, but we can't get it again. Or a low level of a sample you might have imported a WAV file into your MPC and say that sample's too small. Well, we can normalize that sample, meaning we'll make it a little wider, get it back to being big again, you know, so that being soft, it'll be loud enough. And we can normalize the sample. Now I can press do it, but first I'll cancel this, and we'll see the size of the sample actually is perfect for me. It doesn't go over the bounds anywhere here or get too loud. But if it was a very small, soft sample, the whole sample looked like this waveform right here, this area right here, I would normalize it and make it louder. So now I go back here to edit, and we can also reverse a sample. Now I'll press, that's a sample, now I'll press do it. That's kind of looping. You can reverse a sample. Now, if you don't like the way it sounds reversed, you can always reverse a little guitar or something. What are you going to do? It's good to be creative about what you're doing when doing music. Music is a creative art form. Remember that. I'll go back to edit. I can reverse it again. And of course, it reverses it back the way it should be. Got that? Now next, we'll go back to pressing F6. We got reverse. We also have time stretch. Now the unique thing about this new MPC is that once you've got the right size of the sample you're trying to use, well look, it gives us the original tempo of that sound. That sample is exactly 103 BPM. Got that? And then we can even time stretch it. That means we could take that sample and we could stretch it out. You know what I mean? We can make that sample fit something. Now what we're actually doing here is that we're going to make the sample fit a time. Like we'll fit, this is 103 BPMs. We might make it go to 120 BPMs. It'll be my new tempo. Let's check that out. Back to pressing F6, we got reverse. We also have time stretch. Now the unique thing about this new MPC is that once you've got the right size of the sample you're trying to use, well look, it gives us the original tempo of that sound. That sample is exactly 103 BPM. Got that? And then we can even time stretch it. That means we could take that sample and we could stretch it out. You know what I mean? We can make that sample fit something. Now what we're actually doing here is that we're going to make the sample fit a time. Like we'll fit, this is 103 BPMs. We might make it go to 120 BPMs. It'll be my new tempo. Let's check that out. Okay, now I'm going to get ready to time switch the sample up. This is kind of cool. Time switching allows you to like take a sample and keep the same exact pitch, except change the speed. Because if you don't, you know, you hear a Mickey Mouse sound, a guy turns the record play and turns the table real fast, and the record goes, or it goes slow, and it down like this, and it's real slow. Well, look, that is an idea of what we want to stop doing. We want to keep it so it's the same pitch. We just want to slow the sample down. That's something right there. Now, what the unique feature in the MPC 2500 is, we can move the cursor down here, we can set up a preset here. These presets are used to allow us to get the right sound frequency and arrange the sound sample so it sounds perfect at a particular preset. So there's an A, B, C for female vocal, for male vocal, also for low male vocal, you know, like that Luther Vandross thing, and a regular vocal, maybe a background vocal thing going on, or the high frequency rhythm section, like maybe some congas and some cowbells, or a low frequency section, or a mid frequency ABC. Here's a low frequency rhythm ABC, like some really bass, you know, deep bass music. Here's a percussion preset, and here we have a low frequency percussion preset. That's staccato, you know, staccato. And we've got a low frequency slow. So we have music also. If you sample some music and it's all music with the right preset. Now A is much more than B. That means it'll take a shorter period of time to set it up. B will take a little longer. And C will be the longest in all these presets. It'll be the longest calculation. It'll take longer to actually take that sound file and time stretch it, but it'll sound the best. We can also adjust our sample. So our adjustment to adjust it. In case we think it's not so good, we may press adjust either up or down to adjust how well this preset works. Now the best way to use it is to experiment with your sounds and get used to how the MPC can manipulate the actual time stretching capability of the sample you choose. Now I can also choose tempo here. And here it says here, detect tempo. Preset do it will detect sample tempo and enter to current tempo fine. See that? Cancel that out. So I have a tempo set right here, which is like 120 for this one beat right there. See, that's 120? And I could use this preset, let's say, for example, here. That's like a beat that sounds, it's got a low feel, right? A lot of bottom to it, and some congas. So I consider that to be like a little bit of a low frequency feel to it for me. I'm gonna go back to a low frequency rhythm section, and I'll use the quick one. I'll use the A for low frequency here, this A one. And it'll make a whole new sample. My tempo is set there to 120. I don't think I want to. I want to have something different. That's too fast. I can like a little quick dance stuff. I only punch the numbers in. I go like maybe instead it to like 110. I like that. That's good. I'll press enter, and I want to have it set to 110. Now I can press do it, and it says here it'll make a new sample, which will be called beat 5. Keeps as new sample. Overwrites the original. I do not want to overwrite the original. I want to have a new sample. I've got plenty of memory. I want to let me play it though. See that? Wow. It's the same pitch but faster. I can keep it. It's kind of cool. Or retry. Let's try to retry. Now watch this. I'm going to go to another preset. It sounds good, but it could sound better. I'll use B. And watch this. I'll press do it. And look at that. It did it already. Let's play it. See, it sounds a little bit better. Not so tinny. Because the B calculation will get you a little bit better than the first A calculation will get you. Now, I'll retry it again. I'm about to go all the way. Let's see how it sounds with the C calculation going on to it. I'll press do it. Wow, that's pretty quick. And now I'll press play. That sounds the same as the original. See that? That's the original. Here's the one we just did. We can compare how it sounds faster and how it sounded originally, and we can compare the quality of the sample. We can compare the quality of this sample, and we can say, I like that sample, I like it, oh, it sounds the same. We can keep it if we want to. If we do, we just press keep. And now we got a new sample, which is B. See right there? It beats 5. And we got the original sample, which is beats 4. The original is like, and the 5 is like this. And so we can time stretch any sample. We got another feature I'm going to show you here, and we're going to go to Edit, and now we're at Pitch Shift. This is right after Time Stretch. We got Pitch Shift. We can change the pitch of the sample. This is kind of really cool also. We can change the pitch, but keep the right speed. This is a great feature. The MPC 2500 is like a really great new machine because it actually gets the stuff I've been wanting to do for years with samples. I do actually on my computer. I can now do on my MPC and have really a lot of fun with it. So watch this. I've got it set here for like a -12 in pitch. Let's be really serious about it. And we still have more presets. We've got presets for the pitch shifting also. I'll do it, and watch this. See, it made it like a low thing. That's kind of cool. Now I can either keep it, or I can overwrite the original, or I can retry. I'll retry. Okay, as you can see, right here we are in trim. So in trim mode, we can trim our sample down. We can also move our cursor over here. You see the left and the right side of this actual sample field. And now we're going to go to loop. Now here in loop, we can adjust our loop setting. We have the loop start point, which is right there. And we also have our loop lock. So we can move right there, and we can unlock the loop, or we can lock the loop. And here we have, right there as you can see, is the endpoint. Now we can press any pad, and you'll hear the sample. Got that? Now play straight through. We can go right up here to the top though and put the loop on. And we hit a pad, and it loops. Now, normally we can hit this pad right here, and of course it'll loop. We'll turn the loop off. Because we know this pad is set for loop. We can hit any other pad now, once loop is on, and it will loop. Here in loop mode. Okay, now we're going to use these unique features that have come with this new MPC 2500. We're going to use our slice sample edit. It's like a chop thing. So now we're here and we have the sample right here. And we're going to press chop. Opens our chop shop up. Here's our chop shop right there. Now in chop shop we have two different modes. We have auto and we have equal. Now equal will set it to equal values. That means we'll have each sample be set to an equal value. In auto, we can actually set up a kind of setup for the sample to be chopped up in. For example, we have recovery time. Now in recovery time, it sets the minimum or the max amount of time between attacks. Like between the first bass drum and the next time that sound hits, we have to make sure that those attack points are different. Let me cancel it, you'll see. Like here's the first bass drum, and here's where the snare comes in. So I press the, that's boom, pat, boom, pat. These are attack points. And here's a silent point right there. That's a silent point in the sample itself. We want to make sure the recovery time between this and this is enough, so that you don't have it where it like this cuts off. And so what happens in a chop shop, it allows us to have this recovery time. Too much recovery time, you won't even hear any kind of attack at all. It'll be like straight through. So we can set it to a smaller amount of time here. Will give us a little bit better. If you have a lot of attacks in a song, like a lot of like, you know, drum parts that go up and down, you see a bigger waveform with a lot of those actual peaks and a bunch of them in there. Well, you can use smaller recovery time, a much smaller recovery time. Then we have threshold level. Goes back here. We're gonna do it about 40. maybe 50, 45 I like a lot. Now here, this threshold level, this sets the detectable level of an attack. That means it detects when attack's coming up. That hit, that attack right there. Before the next attack comes up. Now the smaller the value, the more sensitive the detection will be. So if you select a very low value, everything will register as attacked. You don't want that. 50 is good enough in this case. We also have our sensitivity setting. Now here, this sets the sensitivity used while detecting the attack. Selecting a smaller value will make the detecting process more sensitive towards varying attacks. Be very sensitive to that. So I might bring this down a little bit, let's say 45 right now. And we're now going to make it adjusted at those certain levels. Now I'll press do it. And look what happened. See what happened here? It made everything into a little, there's one piece there, one piece here, one piece there, there. These are little samples. See that? All those samples right there. And we could play a pad right now. That's that sample right there. Now we can go back here to, this is sample 3. That's sample 2. That's sample 1. See this? That's 3. That's sample 4. Sample 5. Here's sample 6. Here's sample 7. Here's sample 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Wow, look at that. So the cut is, all these little samples are cut up perfectly well for us. Now, I can go back to convert. I'll just go back to rechop, and I'll do cancel. I can do chop again. I can adjust these levels again. Like, let's say I'm going to try and go, let's give them 50-50, for example. And we'll do it again. And it chops them up again for us. See that? It's helping us figure out where to go with these samples. And you can actually adjust these levels. We can say, for example, well, I see where that's at there, and it could be a little bit tighter. Well, we can move the cursor back over here, and we can move it in, press our cursor key, our shift and our cursor key inwards, and then we can, like, see that? We can change the size of this little sample and make it even better than what it is. We can change every sample and line them up perfectly to the right attack we want those samples to be at. That's really cool. Now, let's go back to cancel. We'll go back to chop. And we can also go to equal. Now in this case, it just looks at the sample and makes everything equal. That means each sample reading is going to be equal in size. Watch this. We'll go here. We'll press do it. And as you can see there, they're pretty much equal. They're chopped up. And what you have to do here, you got to go like, well, that's the first one. So now I can go back and say, well, you know, I want to get a tighter front there. I may want to get a tighter number 3 region or a tighter number 4. This region here. It looks like it's almost like halfway through the region. I can go back again with a start time. Press my shift cursor again. Get my increments right. So I can go in large increments. There we go. And now, okay, we got that slice up, so I can change the slices. You can change every individual slice, whether you're in equal or use auto. Now I'll cancel out this, and I'm gonna go back to chop again. And now I'm in equal. So, equally actually. And here I am in auto. So I'll do auto again. I'll press do it. And now it chops up really good for me. I like the way this chop looks here. It looks pretty good. Got the readings all lined up here. They look pretty slick. Nice little readings going on. I probably want to make my readings a little bit longer. Take my first region here, for example. And I want to probably, I don't want this, I'm not really worried about it. But I want that first bass drum, that's for sure. So I can go here and I'll just press this cursor button and go all the way to the end. That's a good one right there. I want my first region to be that one. So I'm going to adjust my readings out how I want them to be. Go back to here. And my second region could be this way. That's pretty good. Right there, pretty good. My next region. Next one. So, alright, that's pretty good. Alright, the last one I'll make a little bit better. I'm going to get the length of that end of that thing really good. So make sure regions are right when you do this. I like that better, like that. That's much better. And now I can convert it. I'll press convert. Now I can convert this into a patch phrase. This unique feature in the new MPC 2500. This allows us to make this phrase doable, where you can take it and shift it around and do what you want to do with it. Well, check it out. I can keep this release point about at 10. Now release means it's going to add a little bit more extra sound or value to the end of each little piece. I don't want to do that. I don't want to make sure I don't stretch it out too long, just long enough. And the original tempo, I remember, was like 103, wasn't it? So I want to make sure this is 103 is my original tempo. So that's 102, 103. There you go, right there. I'll press enter. And now I'll press do it. And now it's made a patch phrase. Now how you can tell it's at a PP to the end of it. It's a brand new sample. We still have our original sample. Number 4 is right there. And next we have, of course, our patch phrase sample. See that? That's a little funny, right? A little different. Now what the patch phrase sample does, it sort of cuts it up, slices it back up, and we get this little patch phrase we can use within our beat. And we'll show that right now. We're going to take this patch phrase and we can change the tempo to it, and we want to change the tempo to it. We'll go back to, let's say, mode, and I'll press program. I'll find a whole brand new program. I'll just say, let me new program anyway, somewhere here. So I got a program, I got my cursor here. I'll press window. And now I've got the option to delete the program, make a new program, close, or copy that program. I want to make a new program. I'll press F3. Now, of course, new program. Let's go back in here and turn the dial here. And I'll call it the beat PP. We're going to go to B, E, A, T, and put a P. Of course, one more time, P, for patch phrase. Now I'll press enter and do it. We have a new program. Now here, I can put my patch phrase right there. That's on my first beat. Right there on that first pad, the first beat. Now I can go back to press main screen, and I can actually change the tempo. See, we can change our tempo up or down according to what we want to do, use it, or how we want to use it in our system. This is a new unique feature in our MPC 2500. Okay, now I'm going to do some more patch phrase sampling. And in this case, we're going to patch phrase, get an actual sample in, and we're going to turn that sample into a patch phrase so we can use on our MPC 2500 in a patch phrase setting. So the first thing I'm going to do is pick a nice sample up, and I've got one already set in queue here on my CD player. I hear the peak of it sort of like just jumps in. So I'm going to pretty much just set this to like almost a minus 63 there, so I can get the full beginning of this sound when it comes in. Get my level set properly so it's not too loud, it doesn't distort. So I'll make sure I press my peak button. See how loud it gets here. Alright, good. Now I'm ready to start recording. Once it stops, I'm good to go. I'll hit this play to hear it back. Sounds pretty powerful, I like the way it is. So I'm going to press keep it. And I'm going to call this one beat number 3. And we'll press keep. Now still queuing back there in the actual sample mode. So now it goes back to sample mode once you've actually taken a sample. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into another mode. I'm going to go to mode and press trim, which is pad number 6. Now here, I'll have that new sample. Here it comes right there. As you can see, by setting the threshold level very low, we still get a lot of the beginning sampling, which I prefer to do that way I can get a really great sample. The one thing I like to also do is make sure I've got great peaks there, as you can see, loud enough. And this is the right side of our sample. As you can see, it says right. And I can go across over here and go to the left side, and that's the left side. So you can see both sides are pretty much just about the same. So it's really cool. So now I'm going to probably just get a good trim on this sample. I'll go here and I'm going to make sure I get close enough. I'll press the shift and then the left cursor knob. I'll go in 2 decimals, two digits. So go and get a bigger, there you go. To get more increments when I actually turn the dial on my data wheel. You can also move your plus and minus button. Now I want to get closer, so I'm going to go to window and I can see exactly where my sample starts from, how far I want to get B on it. Now, this is the actual analog view we have. If I press linear, and linear gives a view where you can see the actual waveform better. Now with analog though, or logarithm, excuse me, you can see it. This gives it a bigger, wider look of the sample, even though it could be a low-level sample. You get a better view of that sample. And so I'll go back to linear right now, just so I can get a view of the actual waveform. Hit the pad. Make sure I hit right on the top of that first beat there. Right, that sounds pretty good for me right there. Next, I go back into close this and go back to the end part, and then I want to bring this whole end level, this end here, right there, back up to that point. So I'll do that right now. I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to press the shift key and the left dial, move up a couple of digits up there, move in larger increments. I can go out here, one more digit. I'll move in even larger increments, get right real close to it. Then I'll press the window, and I get to look at this window here. I can get a much more refined view. I'm going to get closer and closer to the end of this part of the sample here, which I think could be here. I'm going to go back to logarithm. There we go. And now I think I'm pretty much close to where I want to be at. And I'll hold down the first pad here. That's pretty good. Turn my volume down a little bit. So I got my loop pad held down so I can actually hear it as it loops. I like the way that sounds. I think my loop's pretty good, so I'm going to press close window. And next, of course, I'm going to press my edit button, and I'm going to go back here to discard, and I can get rid of any piece I don't want to have there. So it loops properly. I like the way it loops. So now I want to make it into a patch phrase. How we'll do this, we'll press chop. Now here in chop, we can set the recovery time. That means the time between each section. It's going to chop it up into several different samples. That means it's going to chop the bass drum up, the hi-hats, wherever the attack is the loudest. The attack would be the larger size of the sample. I can cancel, you'll see this. These peaks are the attacks, and this little line across there's no attack, nothing happening at all at that point. So this is an attack here, smaller attacks could be hi-hats, snare, kick, whatever. And so I can go back to chop again. I have mine set for recovery of 50 in this case, a threshold level of 60. Now threshold level, excuse me, this sets the detectable level of the attack. That means the smaller the value, the more sensitive it is to detect the level. If it's very small, it'll see everything as an attack. So you want to make sure the detectable level of the threshold level is pretty much close to where you see, okay, the attack comes, we hear it sound good, and then we don't want to have it look for an attack until the next attack comes. So it sets an actual level where it can trace smaller or a lot of attacks or no attack. And here we have the sensitivity level. Now this sets the sensitivity used while detecting an attack. Now if you select a smaller value, this will make the detecting process more sensitive towards varying attacks. So by setting a small level here, it'll check out attacks that are low, like a little hi-hat, or a bigger bass drum attack in the waveform. I set it for 15 for this particular sample. Now next we'll press do it. And now it will chop my sample up. As you can see here, it's chopped up the samples into several different regions. And the whole idea is to get each region almost exactly where you want it to be. As you can see with my setting, I've got different region settings, so it helps it a little better to actually get the right attack. Now what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to hit a pad. That's that first one. I'll turn it to the wheel. Second one. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10, 11, 12, and 13. I want to get my whole region of each one of these regions perfect. Because that way, when I actually turn it into a patch phrase, it'll sound similar to the beat, and I can actually turn the tempo, when I want to turn the tempo around, it'll slide back and forth better between tempos. So, first I'll do is I get this region number 13, I'm going to improve the region. You want to get every attack region here perfect. You'll go and say, okay, let's do this right. Let's take this thing and it's nice there. Let's go to here. Let's go and turn increments in a little bit. And let's move it out. That's good size. I'm going to go back here and bring the front end a little bit so it goes right and attacks well on the front end like that. Then I go to my next region here and I'll move it over here. This region's pretty good. I thought region's good. I'm going to take this region right here and move it over here and change the attack here. Get it just exactly on that drum right there, so I can have it where I want to make sure it's right. You can also open a window, look at it, make sure it's where you want it to be, so it attacks right on that drum, and I can get closer to where it's at, right about there, so I want the attack to happen. In the pad, I know that attack is right. I'll close this window here, and I'll go back to the next region I want to maybe fix up. So I'll move the cursor over to my region, and this region's pretty good. That region, I may want to go to here. So I'm going to adjust each region so it's just about right. I've been working the machine for a while now, even though it just came out, and we're lucky that my friends over at AKAI in Japan really helped us out with it. But it's a really great machine. I'm just going to try and move these regions a little bit more here. Go back over here, move my cursor here, and go next region. And I'll make this region look really nice. Okay, go back over here, and let's say, bring this one in. And we're going to here, and we're good. And then we're going to go to the next region. We're going to go over to here, and that's good. This is good. This is good. This is good. This is good. My problem here, this region here. Wait a minute. That's good. That's good. And go to the next one. Oh, these are. And this one here. That's the end of it. That's the end of it, Sam, I think. So now I think I'm going to take these first two regions and combine them. I don't think they need to be really separated too much. So I can press edit. I can combine regions also. We can combine regions, we can divide regions, and we can extract a region if you don't want the region to be in there. In this case, I'm going to combine a region. I'll go right here and press 2, and I'll press do it. And now I've combined that first region to the other region. And so now I have a total of 12 regions, as you can see right there. Next, I want to convert this into a patch phrase. I'll press convert. Now here we can do a patch phrase, or we can make it into a slice sample. Slice samples right there. I'm going to turn it into a patch phrase. Here's how I do it. I know the tempo of this actual sample is going to be approximately 91 BPM. There you go. If you know the right actual tempo, it's good to place it in there. Then next, I got a release point. I'm going to use 50 for my release. I'll press do it. And now, I have a sample. It's a patch phrase. You can tell because we have a PP right there for patch phrase. Now, I can go to mode, I go to program. I can put this patch phrase, which right there, B3, patch phrase right there. With the mode, with the program, it's on the first A1 right there. And next what I'll do is I'll go back to main screen, and I can now I have to turn this up now. Watch this. So you see you can turn the tempo up here, and that patch phrase reacts to the tempo. I put the numbers in like 120 right here, and press enter, and then. So the patch phrase allows us to take a sample and turn the sample into our own sample, so it'll actually react to the tempo here on our MPC 2500. Okay, now we want to take this sample and turn it into a slice. Now, of course, you go to chop, as we did before, And we have the auto going on, so I can press the auto chop, which is do it. And now we've got a slice of every sample we want in here. I want to make sure this first sample got that first beat in it, so I'm going to take it and make sure that this first sample includes that first region in front there. Yeah. Make sure it's included right there in it. And make sure it's right on the beat right there. So, and now we have these different regions, and we can see how many we have here. We have 14 different regions. But the last region here to be even wider than the first one. See how it's just a little piece right there? I want to make sure that region's like big enough for me to actually get a hold of. So, I'm using my pads. That's perfect. Now, I can convert. Now I'll press convert. I can convert it into a patch phrase, or I can convert it into sliced samples. Now sometimes you get a loop or a beat, you might like a snare drum in that beat, or a hi-hat, or the bass drum or something. You might want to slice it up and keep it as your own separate program. And you can do that now with our MPC 2500. As you can see, our slice samples, we got the release, and we have the create new program. So here, I want to create a new program. I go to yes. Got my release set right there. Just enough, small enough increments here so that when we actually have the MPC 2500 make up these samples, these little slice samples, there's enough space between the first sample and the next sample if we're using them together. We'll press do it. And now, as you can see, this is one of my samples. Now, but first I want to go press mode and press program. And now I made a whole new program. This is the beat for program, which means P. That's the first sound. Now, see that? They're on separate pads. Each sound has been set up to be on a separate pad in the new program called Beat for P for program. And each one of these pads has a separate slice. Let's check out our program section on the MPC 2500. As you can see here, you can press mode and then press program right there, of course. Now, you see the cursor right here on keen set. This comes with our MPC 2500.
AKAI Professional.
MPC 2500.
See our samples right there. We have volume, tuning, and the range. Now, when you want to create a program, with the cursor here, which says program right in the middle right there, we can press our window button. Once we do, we can create a new program. Or we can delete the program, we can close the window, or we can copy a program by pressing the corresponding F key. As you can see here, 2, F3, F4, and F5. If I want to make a new program, I can press F3. Now here in F3, it says program 1. If I want to name it, I'll turn the data wheel 1 space, and then here I can name my sound. I can hit corresponding pads, or turn the data wheel itself to where I want to go to. Okay, so we've got our program here, which is the keen set, and of course we have our sample. Now,
AKAI Professional.
AKAI Professional. I hit this pad right here.
AKAI
You
Professional.
can see it's velocity sensitive. I'll put my full level on.
AKAI Professional.
Now I can hit that pad
AKAI
one time,
Professional.
it'll play straight through. Well, I can go hit 2, which is AKAI Professional, and now I'm going to hit the window button. There's a light right there. I can make that either one shot, hit it one
AKAI
time,
Professional.
it plays straight through, or I can go here to note on. See, it cuts off. I gotta hold it down,
AKAI Professional.
and note on is on. So we can have either note on, or we can have one shot.
AKAI Professional.
As you see here, we have 1, 2, 3 layers. Okay, what a new program here. This is a program that comes with your MPC 2500. This is the patch phrase program. Now here I picked the sound. Oh yeah, I got a sound right here, which is pad 8 on the A bank. Of course, you can see it right here. Okay, great. It's a sand sound. Watch this. I move the cursor down. This is a new great feature on our MPC 2500. I move my cursor where it says the volume says 80. You press your window button, and now we have the ability to change the envelope and reshape our sample with our amp envelope. Now here, I'll play the sound. I can change my attack. See that? The attack can be changed. We can also change the decay. We're going back up here. We'll change the decay down. See if the decay's faster or even faster. Great decay. We can also go here and change our decay. Switch. See what's coming right here. See that? That's a real quick decay cut right there. We can move back up here. And we can change how fast the decay will decay. See that? We'll widen it up. That's really hit. Okay, that's really cool with this feature is that we can actually control the velocity attack. Now what this does right here, right here. Right here is our velocity attack level. Now if I hit the pad, we hear that going on. I'll turn this up here, say 47. See that? I hit it, I'm controlling the attack. That means I can hit it soft, and there's no more attack there. I hit it hard to get my real attack out of it. So it's actually, this remains constant, but depends on the velocity that you hit the pad, you can change how that sound is attacked, how that slope is. I can do the same thing here with this drum loop. I go to drum loop here, I'll turn this on, start, and I'll select this to be something like this. See that? Now, I'll go back to here and change my attack. I'll turn this up even more. See that? Now hit it harder. It depends on how I hit the pad. They're changing the velocity. Do you hear what's going on there? We're actually changing the velocity. This remains constant. I'm just hitting the pad either hard, or real hard, or softer. See that? That is funky. Okay, we also have here our velocity start. It's that pad right there, see? Now, as you can see, I have it set for 73. I'll go to 0, press enter. And then, I'll hit it softer. See that? And I have my full levels not even on. So that means that's how it sounds. Now watch this. I'm gonna go to my velocity start right here and turn up to about, 90. See that? It's getting the end now. Hit it soft, the end. Hit it harder, it's beginning. Now watch this. So I hit that. It's hard. So I hit it soft, we don't get the beginning attack. But it starts from a certain point depending on how hard the velocity is. So we change the start point according to how hard we hit the pad. Now next, we want to control the velocity, let's say, of a sound through the volume. So go back to here, window, open it up. So I hit this pad here. I'm gonna hear it going on, right? I can go now, turn in on to 100. Watch this. If I hit it softer, it's kind of cool. Let's zoom back a little bit. You'll see my hand hitting at least a little more. And you'll see it right here. See that? I'm hitting softly. You hear it? Hit it hard. Hit it hard. That's because I increased the volume there. As you can see, right here, it's been increased to 100. Now, if I move that to 0 again, back to 0, and hit my pad, no matter how soft I hit it or how hard I hit it, it's still the same level of velocity. So the volume is controlled through the velocity that we hit our pad. Here we go. Now, we're also going to use a filter. We'll press the filter sections right here, F2, I press it, and now we're in our filter section on our patch phrase, you can see right here. Now here in the filter section, we can do some unique things that we couldn't do before on our older MPCs. Watch this. I will now press the window button. We can actually have a filter envelope window. Now, I'll press close right here, press F4. And what we can do is select a type of filter. Here we can use a low pass filter. Now in a low pass filter, only the low frequencies will come through on a sound. See that? Only the low frequencies come through. My next one, we got a band pass. Now here, what John, as I was saying, John's one of our interns here, thinking that this is actually a mid-frequency, right, John?
Yes.
We think like a mid-frequency here that you can actually get out of this. We can get our mids and control our mids to this point. Here in a high pass, only the highs pass. See that? Just the high sounds pass through at that point in this filter. We have a low pass too. We get more bottom. Hear that? More bottom through this filter. So we have the choice of our low pass 2, high pass, and our band pass, which we think is mostly more mid-range. And here our low pass 1, which is the first low pass we use. Now I can hit this low pass here. I can go to here and change the frequency of the lows that go through. Now I'm getting more high. See that? We're getting more of what's in the actual sample, the high end of the sample again. Now here, when I find a specific frequency I like, I can go into my resonance and increase that frequency. Now if I get it to distort some, if that distorts any at all, you normally go here and we could lower it by 6 dB or lower it by 12 dB. See that? And it sounds a little better if it's not. If here it could be distorting. If it is distorting, control it here. Now, once I select the type of filter I want to use, I can then press the window button. And now we see the filter envelope field. Okay, now I can hit that pad. And I'll go here. See the volume here? The amount. I can go the amount either plus or the amount minus. See, nothing happens here. See that? That's all based on time. See that? I'm going to go wide too. See that? That's the time. That's based on the time value set here, and this will be the amount that adjusts to this time. I'm hitting the pad down. Now, I'll go back here to my time, turn my time to the plus side. See it change? It sort of changed the sound again. See that sound change a little bit more? That's kind of cool. You can actually develop your own sounds and tweak them out. Now, it's important for you to adjust, sort of relax the day, to sit down and experiment with how you can actually adjust your filters and your filter envelope section. Now, of course, here in this section, we also have, again, our velocity control through time. We'll go back here. We can change this up to here. I'm going to turn this up here. Velocity control through time. Hit it softer. Hit it. Softer velocity. It's changing. See? It depends on velocity. And we can control the filter envelope through time. I'll go back to 0 here. You can also do it through amount. You can change this amount. It can be changed to velocity. See the amount change? I'll put it softer. And we can go -2. And I can change the frequency also through velocity. So depending on how we hit it, we can control the velocity with the frequency, can control the velocity. Velocity also control the amount, and the velocity control the time. Here's our time, here's our amount, and here's our frequency. Now what we also notice here in this filter change section here, is you'll see here, now see this here, I've got this value set for 50, that's my time. Now watch this, I'm going to set my time to be longer now. Nothing, right? Now I'll move it back further, closer. See it? It's rising. That's kind of cool. So you actually set that, I'll go here. See, it took faster. So this time value is the time it takes for that filter to react. Here it's moving up slowly into it. Here, if we set this to plus sign, it's starting out earlier than it normally should start out, and it gets to the original point later on within the sample. So you go, it went down. I can change my time point even longer. See the change? So it's important for you to experiment and get great sounds. You can do that with this new MPC 2500. Now what you can also do here when you got a sound, we can link filters together. Here we go to here, and we link, and we'll link it so that these two filters are doing the same thing, making it more powerful. So we are linking two filters together, and this is going to be the main filter, so both of these filters are doing the same thing right here. You can actually layer sounds. Now here, of course, we see MPC 2500. I'm going to move to a different pad here. Good, I'm on pad A11. It's Bank A, and that's the pad number 11. As you can see, we have these volume, tuning, and range. Well, we can go down here with the cursor down once, and we can add another sound to play along with the current sound we already have. And we can go to here and say, play a little shaker right there. Hear that little there? I can go here and play a cymbal. Let's hear this thing. Hear this. See that? It's a cymbal on that also. Move the cursor down one more time. I can play this blip. I can go down one more time. I'll pick another sample to play at the same time, and whenever I strike the pad, all these sounds will play. See that? We can also control the volume of each one of those sounds. I can go here to the bass, this low bass here, lower the bass volume. See that? So we can actually layer sounds. Now why this is important to know is because what you do as a professional, what most guys do, is we layer sounds. We'll add maybe a big drum here, a thinner drum here to match the two drums up, so you get a little bit of highs to go along with that big bass drum. We'll even do that with bass lines, or even sometimes I'll do that with some hi-hats. So I get two flavors of one hi-hat, it turns into a new hi-hat. It's kind of really cool, and you can also change, of course, the volume and the tuning of each one of these sounds. Okay, we've got our sound there, of course, AKAI Professional. I press the pad there, and you can see we got our tuning, the pitch. We can change the pitch of the sound.
AKAI Professional.
See,
AKAI
Minnie Mouse?
Professional.
Just like-
AKAI Professional.
See, the little scrolly sound.
AKAI Professional.
Get that really deep. And that's how we do our Darth Vader sound right there. It's kind of cool. We can not just go in these larger increments. We can go in smaller defined increments here by going further out with our cursor button and turning the data wheel. See that? And we can also punch the numbers in. We can go like 0, 2, 2, 2, and then press enter, and we got the exact pitch you might want to be at or near. This goes 0, 0, 0, 0, enter, and right back to our normal fine-tuning start point. Now here we also have the range. These are the range. This is a velocity range. That means I can hit this pad,
AKAI Professional.
and that sound hits there. I go hit this bass sound, for example, and I may put another sound here. Let's put a different sound here. And so we can say, for example, that at this pad, we want to hear this when we hit it really hard, let's say, at that velocity. But at a lower velocity, we can hit differently. So I turn my full level button off, and I'll hit the pad. So I hit it real soft, all I hear is that little hit it hard, I hit the bass. So different velocity levels, meaning how hard we strike the pad, we can actually have it going on there. I'll go back to here, I'll pull it down to here, I'll make this like 75. I'll put the numbers in, make it 74, press enter, and now, see, I press soft, I get that psst. I press hard, I get the bass sound. So we can control the velocity level of any sound we put here in our layers. That's really cool. What's so cool about our layers being that way, this works great for hi-hats. You may have a hi-hat over here, and let's say you get a hi-hat in, and we've got a hi-hat right there. That's a closed hi-hat. And we can go, see? So we got one level of this little wind thing, and then a hi-hat. And you can have the bottom one be an open hi-hat, we'll say, or even harder hitting different hi-hat. See that slow thing? That's a merge right there, see that? We can actually change our different hi-hat, make a big symbol, let's say, for example. So you can change varying sounds between your closed hi-hat and your open hi-hat. Okay, we also have parameters. We're going to press F3. Now here in parameters, we can have a sample. Ooh, bass sample. We're in our bass section. Okay, now watch this. I have each sample selected as mono. So let's go down here further. They're mono. Now watch, go to poly. See, it's the apply also. Watch this. So they're overlapping. You hit it many times, it does it more than one time. If you go to mono, then it starts from the beginning every time you hit it over again. And here, I'll put this just to mono. Now, when you have a mute group, the next thing I have is a mute group right below that. This is a mute group. Just make sure, let's say, this is mute group 2. That means here, everything in mute group 2 will cut each other off. If I play this first sample, or play the sample by itself, or play this one. Let's get a longer one. Here's one right there. See that? So it cuts off each sample. Now if it's not in the mute group, and we turn this mute group thing off here, for each one of these samples, and turn this off here, turn that off there, we go. See that? See, and they're overlapping each other. So sometimes you get a nice sample you want to keep. You have varying samples. Here we have different bass sounds. This program can be found, of course, on our MPC 2500. It comes with it. It's called the Bass Ace. That we can work your mute group along with your poly, which is your voice overlap, to get the right flavor for your sound. So we have our mute group, as you can see there. Now how this works is that we have 32 different mute groups, because we can have 32 different sample sounds. You got that? So we can have 32 different mute groups. So for this group here, this will be my bass mute group, I would call this, but this will be group 2. And there in group 2, any one of my samples that is set to group mute 2 or mute group 2, they will be cut off when the other sample is heard. Now I'll put us back to 2 right here. Put us back to 2 right here. See that? And they're all set to the same mute group. So when certain sounds to that same mute group, then those sounds are cut off because they're set to the same mute group. Okay, now we have here also, we've got our mute target. This is how it works. We're going to play a sound, have another sound, cut it off. Here's how it works. We'll say we want this drum, which is the kick drum, to cut off 8. That's set to 8. See that? Then we'll go back here and play this. See, it cuts it off. So we can actually have this target a specific sound we want to cut off when the sound hits. It cuts it right off. Okay, we've seen that feature. This is kind of cool. We can also go and say, we got a loop. Pretty cool loop. It's a patch phrase loop. We got it right there. We can go this loop. Let's say we can go to edit. We'll press edit. We got the ability to actually time stretch a sample. We can go right directly back into our trimming field or our editing of our sample field, and we can go back into time stretching. It'll tell us the original tempo, but if you know the original tempo already, put it in there already for you. And this will be our new tempo. We can adjust it to whatever preset we want, as we showed earlier, and set that preset to be within, you know, as close to the parameters of what we think that sound's going to be. For example, this is a drum loop. So what I want to probably do, I go to here, and of course I look for like a drum loop or some sort of high freak or low freak rhythm. I'll go to right here. I can use maybe a mid freak rhythm setting. I can set A, B, or C, with A being the easier equation, B being a little harder, and C being the best. That means I'll calculate it. It'll make it just about perfect to what the original sample sound was once we change the tempo of that particular time stretching. Great features. We love the machine. This is cool too. We're in parameters, of course. We can press edit. And in edit, we can go to pitch shift, not just time stretch. We're going to pitch shift. Here in pitch shift, I got it set there for -12. Let's put it for like maybe -6 or something. -6. Okay, I pick my sound. That's the sound I want to pitch shift. I press do it. We'll try it. Let's play it. Whoa, I might like it. You know, we may like it. Hey, we can retry or keep, or we can overwrite the original, which is this overwrite right here. If you want to do it, keep it. If not, press F4 and retry it again. Okay, so check this out. We also have our note. We go to note right here, and we can select the specific MIDI note that is a trigger. That means, let's say we have another drum machine or another sequencer. We can trigger other sounds and make this sound, okay, this will be D138. Or I can make that to be D sharp 1 or E. And that means when I hit this note and I have it connected to my keyboard and the MIDI out information will be sent to the keyboard, I'll play this note on the keyboard. You can set any pad for any specific note you want to set it for in this feature. We also have here our LFO. So our LFO is really cool. Now this changes the LFO of particular, and we can go by depth too, and pitch. That's hot there, go. So you can change the LFO and then change your pitch depth. We can change the rate. Now it's important for you, I can do this all day long, you have got to sit down and go over these features. Understand how you can change that on that one particular sample. You can change the rate. We'll go back down here again. Or you can change the rate. We can change the delay. See the delaying back there? We can change the filters. It's kind of cool. For filter 1, see that filter 1, filter 1? The amount for filter 1. The amount for filter 2. So, experiment and learn. Now, LFO means low frequency oscillation. As you can see here, when it's on 1, it's faster. 2, slower. 3, so it's oscillating back and forth. Control the pitch. Remember that. Okay, I've got my beat right here. As you can see, I've looped it at 90 BPM. See it right there. Okay, next thing I'm going to try and do here is I'm going to actually, let me name this track actually. I can do that up here. I can go to a window and I can name the track. Of course, I'll go to here. And I can name it beat. Getting my pads that correspond to the letters. Put the beat right there with the cursor over one space, then hold the shift bar down, and then trigger off the left cursor button, and we got it. Now I'll press enter. That's the name of that track. I'll press close. That track is named beat. Always name your tracks. It's important to know where you are in any session you're doing, particularly doing some music, you know what I mean? You don't want to get lost and come back. What track was that? I have no idea. Oh my God. So here we go. Check this out. This little beat here. Now I've got one track up here. Well, I have some bass sounds on this actual thing. You can pan back a little bit, you have no idea what I'm doing right here. I want to record that. I go to here, press record, and press play start. So I'm going to press record and play start right there. But first, I want to get a click actually. Let me go to here first. I want to get a count off. So right here, we're going to have a count off. That's why I want a count off right there. So I'm going to go right here. I'm going to say, I want like a count off and record only. That's cool. I'll close this. And I'll get a 4-click count off, which is a quarter note count off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, cool. That's it. Now I'm gonna use a note repeat right here. For them to turn this off here. If I put this on and press overdub and press play, I'm gonna overdub. In this case, I'm gonna turn it off right now and practice a part. I got it now. Watch this. So I'm gonna go back to play. Record here. Watch this sound. I like that better. Just missed it last time. That's much better. So now, I'm going to go to another track. I can't even name that track there. I might name that track. I'll go to open window. I call this track bass. B, move the cursor over, A, and then S. Cursor one more time, S. Cursor one more time, press the shift and the left arrow key and press enter. That's my bass. It's closed, and that track is the bass track. Now, I've got my bass track down. We're on a new track now. Add some sort of different effect sound. Now, most of your sounds here you're going to find on the actual preset sounds they give you from AKAI. So it makes it easy to do a little demo for you. And you can do it yourself at home. I'm going to press my next bank, which is going to be my B bank right there. And it's the sound I want to use. So I'm going to go back to here and press record and play. Got our 1 bar count off there. So watch. 2, 3, 4. Okay, here we go. Some sort of effect in the back, kind of funky. Press my mode, go to my mixer button, and now I can see the sound right here. So now I'm gonna do, I'm gonna lower that sound down. Bank B, pad 4, and I'll bring it down somewhat. Go in the background, you know? Add a little effect to the background of the track. That's kind of cool. Now I'll press the main button right here in the front. I'm going to press this main key right here and right back in the main screen. So the track is still moving along here. I can still keep producing. I turn off my overdub, so now I can go back into this was on earlier. I'll turn it off now. And now I can actually check out tracks and some other stuff out too. Now I'm going to name that track, I guess I'll call it Water. Sounds like water to me, so I can name that track. Go to here. I'll press the window button, of course, and we got the track name up. We'll turn the dial one time, and now we can put the word water in there. I'll hit my corresponding pads. That's a W, A, then a T, then an E, and then an R. All right. Move the cursor over once, then press the shift and the left cursor to erase the buttons, erase the actual other words there. I have water. Press close. I'm good. Now a new track. This is called the CDS track. It's in our preset sounds that we have on our MPC. I'm looking for some sounds. I like that sound. It goes back and forth. So sometimes I want to tune a sound up and make a fit track. You know, give it that kind of flavor where I can take that one sound and pitch it anywhere I want to. Here's how I would do that, of course. I'm going to press over here my 16 levels button, which is right over there. Bam! Of course, it's right there. It doesn't light up, of course, you can see, but it does give us right here in the window our assigned 16 levels to any particular sound. I picked this sound here called the Melt, M-Melt on pad 10. And I'm set for tuning, so I can tune the sound up. The original tuning, which this note here, would be pad number 4. So I can press turn on. And then, but watch this. So we have that one sound on many different pads tuned. Okay, we got this new sample here. I've got a little pitched up. Good. It's time to start making the beat up. I'm going to press this record button and play start. Kind of cool. Probably bring the level down. Go to mode, go to mixer. That was actually sound number 10 here. Not too loud, loud enough. Now sometimes I have to actually turn my full level off. I don't want to have this full level on because every time I hit a sound it'll be the same level. aside to the last time we played, I want to play it soft or play it loud. Like, so it builds up, you know? It's important to have some dynamic sense to your music. It's very important. That way, the listener can actually get some sort of vibe from the sound, rather than everything being all full level. There's that essence in the background, the beat pumping, the bass line pumping. There's some sort of instrument gliding over the top of the sound. It's kind of funky. So I just press softly or press harder. It's velocity sensitive. So I kept the full level off. Then I tune that sample up. And I know that sample's actually at A10. And I lower the level here, so I get a nice level in the track. I'll press play. And my beat's still dominating the track. And the bass line's there, it's like the groove's going on. We got our beat right here. I'm gonna level down. Now the unique thing about this MPC, the real unique thing now is that we can record maybe some vocals inside this thing. This is kind of really cool. And how we do this, I'm going to take this cable right here and I put it in the back of my MPC into my record in on the left, like we showed you in the beginning of our video. Next, I'm going to go and press input through. Got input through right there? That's pretty cool. Now, once I got my input through going on, and look here on the screen here. Look at our screen so it says right here. We'll zoom in so you can see this real cool idea we're going to do. We're going to do a little bit of vocals right there. And you can see right here on the screen where it says off. See that? It says input through is off. I'm going to move my data wheel or press the data button, and now it's on. Now you can hear me talking through the mic. That's me, the DOC. Right there on the microphone, guys. I'm talking to you live. Hi, what's up, what's up, what's up? And what we're going to do right now, we're going to show you how you can record audio into your MPC 2500. It's off the hook. Check this out. Now, I got the vocals going on. I also can add some sort of effect to my vocals also at the same time, as you can see here through the input. I can play the beat even. Watch this. I'll play the beat. Yeah, of course I'm rhyming. I'm rhyming with the beat on time. I'm a whack rapper. I can't rhyme. They say, get off the mic, Doc. You ain't on time. Yeah, that's right. I'm really whack, guys. But as you can see, now you can practice along with your beat. It's kind of funky and really cool. Not just that. You can go right here, and we can add some sort of effect to the beat. Like, watch this. Oh, I got that bass. Like, I'm almost, wait, what's going on, guys? How you doing? Oh, dude, watch this. Hey, what's going on? Can I help you, please? You want aisle 4, please? Get that item. Madam, put it down, please. Look at that. Amazing. We'll go back here to a full low pass and take the resonance off. We can also do this. We can use the high bandwidth. As you can hear right now, that's got that real high bandwidth going on. I can turn up more of this actual resonance right here and bring this down a little bit more and get a little closer to that kind of different sound. How you doing, please? Can I help you, please? That's really cool, right? We go back over here again. We can use a high pass filter, which you can hear all the highs there. And I can use the frequency and the resonance and then the attenuation right there. So, I'll turn this off for now. No need for this right now. There we go. And we have this audio going into our MPC. Now I can also actually sample this, but first I want to go to, let's say, mode and go to record and check something out here. I'm in main out, don't want to be there. I want to pretty much go to analog in. See that? Now you can see I'm on the left side. It's going to get that one side there. I want to go maybe to a mono record, for example, right here. And that's what I want to have, a mono going up right. It's pretty cool right there. I like that totally. Now, I can record into my track also. I got a good level here. I like the level that's going on right now. It's kind of funky. And I'll go back to my main sequence. I'll press the main button. So we'll draw the camera back so you can watch every element of this and see what we're going to do here. We're going to do a little recording. I'm going to press the main button right here. And we pressed it. Now we're going to go right back in with the camera. And we're going to show you something else here. We're going to go to here and move the cursor down to where it says drum. Now we open a window. And right there it says direct recording. Pressing turn on will enter direct recording mode. Pressing turn on will enter direct recording mode. Got that? I'll press the turn on and not the recording this track. Let's cancel that. I want to go to a fresh new track. A fresh track, a new track. Always go to new track when you want to record directly into your MPC on a specific track. Now, I'll go here, and now I'll move the cursor down one more time here, and I'll press enter. Press window. Now it says pressing turn on will enter direct recording mode. I'll press turn on, and now I'm in direct recording mode right here in this particular track. Okay, I got my mic right here. It's dark in the hills. For those you don't know, I'm the DOC. All right, so let's get busy here. We're gonna go right there. Got the input through on. We've got our mode going on. We'll press the mode button. We'll press the record. I'm making sure that, look, I'm here. I got my input to the left and right. Just making sure I'm on the left side and we're in a mono record situation. I'll go here in mode. I'm gonna go here to hit the sequence edit. Now I know I got 2 bars. Watch this. I'm gonna take these 2 bars and I'm gonna put them after the 2 bars. I'm gonna do it 7 times. So I got 16 bars of the same loop over and over. I got a special track, a new track, a program also to put the sample onto. I'm gonna go right down here to the drum part, it says drum type, and I'll press window. I can now press turn on to enter recording mode. And I'm recording mode. I can press play start here. When I'm ready to record, I'll press F6. Here we go. That's right, I'm the doc and I'm not so tight. My rhymes are whack and I think you should appreciate that. I got the wackest rhymes in the planet and my brother's even whacker than me. We call ourselves whack 1, 2, 3, but whacker than anyone who ever could rhyme. I don't even rhyme on time. I can't even know what a rhyme is. I know how to even rhyme. Okay, enough of that whackness. Now I'm gonna stop this recording right there. The recording has stopped. Now I'll press the pad. That's where I want the sample to be at. It says record event, yes. Keep, yes. We'll press play start from the top, but first I'll turn my mic down so you can still hear it. So turn it down. We don't want to hear the microphone. We practice a little bit. We'll turn it down. I'll put it right over here for myself, and I want to play back the track. That's right, I'm the doc and I'm not so tight. My rhymes are whack and I think you should appreciate that. I got the wackest rhymes in the planet and my brother's even whacker than me. We call ourselves whack 1, 2, 3, but whacker than anyone who ever could rhyme. I don't even rhyme on time. I can't even know what a rhyme is. I know how to even rhyme. Okay, enough of that whackness. Let's stop. That's how it works. It's really cool. So I'm not gonna say cancel, I'm through recording. And if I want to like fix the level of that track, I can go back to mix and I'll press the mode button, I'll press the mixer right here. I think I put it right there on D, I'll bring the sound down and I'll play it again. I'm the doc and I'm not so tight. Yeah, good level on it, see? You should appreciate that. You can actually rhyme, put a track into your MPC and get that track going along.